Hi, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet, and today is our Community Youth Employment Program and Community Summer Youth Employment Program Technical Assistance webinar. We may have some folks joining us from the Youth Employment and Education Program that is starting very shortly. That's going into the school year. I did a training session with them this morning, and so welcome to you all if you are joining us today. What we're going to be talking about today primarily is the new self-evaluation. It is online, live, and the worksite evaluation has been updated, and we have a report that is just being refined, so possibly by tomorrow we'll have the report live ready to go. So let me show you first of all,
1 second,
on a customer's profile, and I set up Sammy Davis here, and when you go to the customer profile, you scroll down to where all of the assessments are and you see this self-evaluation. So on the self-evaluation, you click, the customer would click on new evaluation, and then they would click on the word take. It pops up to the screen. They would stay as current user as the participant, and then they would go through and track what they feel their quality level is or knowledge level is of each of these 10 skills. So we have computer literacy, which is the foundational skill that we teach to in Employment 101. And then it has, I can operate a computer, surf the internet, send, receive emails, and use computer software. Well, not really. A little sometimes, I think so most of the time, yes to all or almost always. Each one of these info bubbles gives the participant that is taking the quiz the definition of what that particular reason means for each of these items. So there's an info bubble for each piece as they're going through the evaluation. Now, if you have a paper evaluation, I'll show you a different place that you can go in and enter the information for that evaluation. But all the user has to do is click a radio button, and if they click a different radio button, it changes the answer. So they click a radio button, and I'm just going to kind of do my little pattern that I do. And then they get all of their answers done, and they get a chance to preview. And we need to change colors here. We're going to have blue for exemplary, and then green for proficient, yellow for needs development, and pink for performance improvement plan needed. And then if they're okay with those answers, it gives them the description of what they said their level of evaluation was. Then they can save this evaluation. And what this tells them to do then is they can either print it, or when you're done, you need to close that tab, because there's something going on with Google and Internet Explorer. They don't automatically close tabs when you put a button in that says that. So they'll need to close that tab and then refresh their page so that it shows that they actually took that evaluation. So it's refreshing right now. It will show up. Scroll down a little bit. And if I click on the self-evaluation again, it shows the result of the evaluation that I gave them. There's a total of 40 points right now. We have not weighted anything stronger than anything else. So right now there's 10 categories and 4 points max for each category. There will be a discussion, I believe, next week as to whether or not we're going to weight some things heavier than others. And then The other thing that the customer can do from their profile is they can scroll down and find this worksite evaluation, self-evaluation results. They can click on there to see any results that come in from either of the evaluations for that customer or for themselves. Then also, if they've got a career plan with you, they can go to their profile and see what their career plan looks like from their dashboard as well. This has been available the entire time, but we've just never discussed it in one of our sessions. So this is where the customer can see that evaluation. Now I'm going to minimize this screen, and as a career navigator or a case manager or whatever you guys call yourselves, when you're working with the youth, there is the ability for you to see the evaluation and help the person create an evaluation as well. So if we go to the Assessments tab, this will also be available on their career plan where the Review Assessments page is, but we're going to discuss it from this point right here. So on the Assessments tab, we see the self-evaluation, the worksite evaluation. We also have an observational evaluation. It's a little bit different. The categories are just a hair different. It's geared more for you to do the evaluation in a classroom type setting or a work learning, not a work site learning, but like you're working in a lab with them and you're trying to see what they're doing periodically throughout the course of their time that you spend with them. You can do an evaluation on them as well. And this might be a good precursor before they do a worksite evaluation. So on here, for the self-evaluation, we can click, we see the result from the evaluation we just took. We can click on the new evaluation, and we can then take an evaluation with them. And so when we click the take here, we have the option to select whether it's the participant taking the evaluation or whether it is you helping the participant take that evaluation. And so I'm going to do it from my perspective as a career navigator or whatever you guys call yourselves. And then I can go through and the youth can talk to me about this while we're doing this. And you can talk to him about what the differences are for each of these pieces and then help them fill out really the right answer based on your conversation with them, because there may be some of these things that they just don't quite understand what the definition really and truly means. So by having a conversation with them, you can do that a little bit differently, but we really want the decision to come from the youth themselves. So if we're changing this a little bit, maybe we do this and then this and then this and this, and we come up here and we go down there and we stay there. And then you can also write comments on either of these. We're going to preview here. So we've got okay. So then the same thing, we can save the evaluation. We can go back and edit it if we need to. We're going to just save this one.
Sorry, this is like the cutest, saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And
that was definitely not
AHS Francesca, mute yourself, please.
On here last night. That sure reminds me of like Harry Houdini.
And then print or return to the customer profile. So we're going to return to the customer profile. And right now what this is doing is it's taking us back to their overall customer profile in Illinois WorkNet. We are planning on making an edit to this so that it takes you back to where you came from, so that you don't have to worry about getting back to the right place. So then if we have a worksite evaluation, and by the way, we have instructions for all of this on the partner page. I'll show you where those are. If we do a worksite evaluation on this customer, we have the option to do a new evaluation. We have the ability to search for an employer or add a new one. everybody should have their employers already entered through the worksite placement, because we need to have those employers in for their career plan and the step for the employment. My husband just closed my doors on me. So we're going to search for the employer. We're going to add Albany Park Community Center. And then we're going to add a job title. If you start typing regular ones, they'll show up in here. Then you can just click from the list. We have a worksite start date. We're going to pick that one. We've got a worksite end date. They can go 90 days. Maybe we haven't gotten there yet. And so the worksite end date is going to be August 24th. We're going to save that job data. If you are sending it to the agency, to the employer to do it himself, you would search for a contact. And it might be me, it might be Excelsior Academy, whoever it is that you're sending it to, they need to have an email address. So I'm going to select this, and then you want to mark whether it is an initial or a final. And we're going to plan on the initial one here. Now, if you click step 5 to finish, this will send an email to the employer. The employer will have a link to click to finish the evaluation. If you have a paper version of it, which is also on the partner page, a paper version, you can fill it out on behalf of the employer, or you can be on the phone with the employer and be filling this out. So I'm going to clear this contact, and then it goes back to the point where I can submit the application or the evaluation on behalf of the employer. I'm going to submit. It gives me the option and information so that it's the employer information over here, who's actually doing the review, which is me. Who is the review being done on, which would be Sammy Davis. And then we're going to, or the employer can be filling it out. So if you have a paper version, or if you have them on the phone, you can pick either of these options depending on who's actually telling you the information. So then Sammy's computer literacy is okay. His attendance is proficient. Now, if you notice, the reasons are a little bit different here. What that level is, these are based on human resources type of words for what they might get in an actual work evaluation. So we used the different words, but we used the same concept for each. So we have some reasons here. Again, if you click the info bubble, it tells you what it is that they have in here. And we'll do some reasons here. And then when we preview, this is the result of the test, of the evaluation. I keep thinking it's a test, evaluation. So we can edit it if the answers are different than what we thought we got, then we can edit. Otherwise, we can save it. We're going to return to the customer profile. And back to the assessments page. Now, one of the things that we're trying to do for this whole process is we're trying to get and keep people employed. So one of the major things that youth need to understand is that these essential employability skills are what's going to keep them employed, especially if they know how to do the job. These are the things that will help them stay. So what we have now is an evaluation summary. When we click on the evaluation summary, it gives us a report that we can pick for Sammy Davis. Oh, here's my pretty blue color. Okay. So we have this report for Sammy Davis, and we have 2 self-evaluations. We have a pre and what we're considering a post. We did them both like within 10 minutes. But if you take the initial one, like the day or 2 after they come to you, before you start any training with them, get that pre-assessment done. And then when you're done with the training for them, have them fill out that evaluation again, because then we have a post-evaluation. Then we have an initial worksite evaluation, which is done in that 2 to 4 week time frame. Don't let it go past the 30 days. Have the employer do it in that first not the first 2 weeks, but the 2 to 4 week time period. And then what happens here is this description. This description is based on the most recent evaluation results. And then at the bottom, we have how many exemplaries they have, how many proficients they have, how many needs development, and how many development plan needed, performance improvement plan needed. And what our goal is to have the improvement from this initial self to the final work site. We want to see that the youth is gaining confidence, gaining knowledge, gaining ability in those essential employability skills. Okay, I just went through that super duper fast. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to move on to where the instructions are. So when we go to the CYEP partner page, on our full list of resources, down at the bottom, we have a tab that takes you to the web page for our assessments, our full assessments. So this talks about Employment 101, it talks about the NOCD test, it talks about the self-evaluation, the observational evaluation, and the worksite evaluation. So all of this stuff is talked about on this page. We have a link for resume resources. We have a link for the Employment 101 information. And then we also have, oh, where did it go? I'll get them up here. I'm sorry, I thought we had these links here. I will, am I on the right page? Yes, I am. All right, I will add the paper version for the, oh, right here. I'm sorry, I'm blind. Right here, we have the self-evaluation, the PDF version. I will add the guide for you guys. We have the worksite evaluation PDF version and then a partner guide. So if we look at the partner guide, what it has is what skills we talk about. And then it has the rubric of what the actual definitions are for each of the skills. And you can then compare that to what the youth sees on their self-evaluation. So, and then I'm also developed a document that talks about the whole thing compared side to side so that you can see what we're doing with it and where we're doing it. And it was kind of geeky on my part, but I enjoyed doing it. So, all right, any questions about the essential employability skills evaluations? No? Have you been doing the paper versions of them? Yes, because they're part of your performance. The pre-evaluation or the self-evaluation, the pre-version needs to be done within a couple of days of them becoming part of your eligible participants. The post doesn't have to be done, but I suggest having them do that when they're done, right before they go to a job. And then for the initial worksite evaluation, I suggest that it be done within that first 2 to 4 weeks. It probably depends on how many hours a week they are actually working. If they're working more hours in a week, you could probably do it in the first 2 weeks. If they're not working very many hours, give it that 4-week time period. And then the final needs to be done at the 30-day mark, or I'm sorry, the 90-day mark. All right. Great, Carly. All right, any other questions? All right, how are you guys doing on your eligibility enrollment? I have not been checking numbers at all. Is everybody good with where we're going and finding your youth now, so that we're looking at the dashboard and filtering the right way and looking at, I'm trying to get to a dashboard here. Okay, I'm just going to review this really quickly here. For your dashboards, your initial applications are going to show up on the CYEP board right here under this customer application status. Lindsay, what agency are you with? Yeah, Mary's got to give you access, and if she doesn't, then I need some information from you. So check with Mary and see if she has given you that yet or not. Okay, so your customers, when they initially fill out their application, they will show up in this CYEP dashboard. After that, if you're looking for the eligibility, for them being eligible, you need to look in the CSYEP. And then if you are going to be part of the YEEP program, then you'll have to look for that in this dashboard as well. But all of the applications will come in under CYEP until we are done with summer. And then we may make the switch completely. Okay, and then also on the, oh, I don't want to do this in live. Let me get back to a test. Let me close some of these. Okay, and one thing that that we need to be doing, if you haven't done it already, is you need to be making sure that you are switching your youth from CYEP to CSYEP if they are continuing with you into the end of August. And you would just do that by clicking on the CSYEP, putting the date in for that. So it would be today. If they switched, if it was a different day this month, you would put in that day that they actually made the switch and then save. And then it would show up in the enrollment history if it did that. The one thing that it is tracking is you'll see a 1 second change difference between the last time you enrolled them and verified them. And if they moved into the new organization, you'll see it here. Don't worry about the dates. All right, any other questions that I can answer for you? All right, hopefully everybody's having a great day and that you are getting your kids enrolled. And we'll talk to you soon. And Lindsay, if you and Mary need help with that, just let me know. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.